Welcome and greetings, career-minded superstars. You are listening to the exclusive Career Coach, your podcast for all things career. And I'm Lisa Edwards, the indispensable career coach for superstars just like you. Now let's dig into this week's topic, shall we? Go from dragging yourself to work each day to finding a job you love. The Career Spring program is for high-achieving and ambitious mid-level professionals like you who are looking for a job that uses your zone of genius, recognizes your value, and pays you what you're worth. If you're ready to learn more, schedule a complimentary consult using the link to my calendar in the show notes. Be sure to follow me on Exclusive Career Coaching on Facebook, Lisa Edwards on LinkedIn, and Lisa.Edwards on Instagram. Greetings. How's it going, guys? How's your summer? Let's talk about how to manage difficult employees today. I started this one thinking it was going to be about how to motivate them, but ultimately, if you manage them properly, you can motivate them. And maybe I'll do something on ways to motivate employees on another episode. My sources for this episode include Northeastern University Graduate Program's blog, loomapps.com, and indeed.com. I wanted to remind you, as I did last week, that the next Land Your Dream Job group coaching program starts on September 13th. It'll go for 8 weeks through November 1st. And this is an opportunity to get the same job search coaching content that I give my clients one-on-one, but because it'll be a group program, it's going to be much more affordable. So we're going to identify your non-negotiables in your next employer, in your next job. We're going to learn how to leverage your existing network, even if you don't think you have one, to get your foot in the door at your target employers. We're going to learn my number one job search strategy for making online applications more effective through job boards and such. We're going to build out a personalized multi-pronged job search strategy for you. And we're going to recognize and address the negative thoughts that are going to hold you back from your job search. So all of that is just $7.95. And if you bring a friend and register at the same time, that person gets half price. So it's $3.95 for them. If you'd like to get your name on the waiting list to be notified for when the registration opens later this summer, the link is in the show notes. It's landyourdreamjob.carrd.co, landyourdreamjob.card, but with 2 R's, .co, or again, it'll be in the show notes. All right, managing difficult employees. Let's start with the definition of a difficult employee. And this is one I got from one of the resources I cited earlier. A difficult employee is a term used to describe a person who acts in a careless, unprofessional, or irresponsible manner in the workplace. Difficult employees may challenge the authority of their leaders, create a negative or disruptive work environment for their peers, or struggle to meet personal performance expectations. So in other words, they may not be doing the job well enough. They may be causing heartburn for their boss, and they may be disrupting the work environment and kind of causing the overall productivity of the workplace to come down. So specific characteristics of a difficult employee may include attendance issues, so frequent absences, coming into work late, etc., failure to meet expectations, distracting others from their work, lack of motivation, energy, enthusiasm, or pride in their own works. They're just not engaged. Difficulty accepting accountability for their actions. They do not take feedback well at all. They may be argumentative, rude, violent, or disruptive. They may have behavior that intimidates, threatens, or humiliates others. Show a lack of respect or tolerance for the opinions, skills, or talents of others. They may have difficulty building positive work relationships or working on a team. They may take part in workplace gossip, and they may ignore established rules or procedures. So what are some of the causes of becoming a difficult employee? Well, they may be jealous, right? So they are innately jealous, insecure, maybe in their own abilities. And so when other people succeed, they are very insecure about that. So they have jealousy and they want to bring other people kind of down to their level. They may have issues at home. So this is particularly I think, relevant when someone who has been a good employee, a good performer, all of a sudden becomes not a good employee or performer. There's something probably going on at home. There may be physical or mental health concerns. So there could be previously undiagnosed mental health. Maybe they've changed their medications and it's affecting them differently. They could have a physical ailment or disease that is causing them to become a very different person at work. They may be stressed out because of a heavy workload, or again, those responsibilities from home are stressing them out, and that stress is showing itself in the workplace in these unmotivated ways. And then they may have poor work-life balance, so they really haven't figured out how to balance all of the balls in the air that they have going. Difficult employees have the potential to become valuable contributors to an organization many times. One of the things they need to understand is how that behavior is impacting their work environment, that it's not just affecting them, but it's affecting a group of people around them and maybe even the whole company. I think it's really important here to understand that difficult employees are often not intentionally being difficult, but instead they are responding to those challenges that we just talked about, the stress, the poor work-life balance, the things that may be going on at home. I think it's easy to get into a victim-villain mode with these difficult employees, and I'm guilty. I can think of one person in particular where I often saw myself in a victim role with her. They're not doing these things to just get you or the boss, get you as the boss or get someone else in their work environment. When you have that kind of thinking of victim-villain mentality, you then, as the supervisor, become helpless. You are in a disempowering position with a difficult employee having power over you. If you are staying awake at night thinking about, this underperforming employee or this employee who's suddenly become belligerent towards you or just isn't doing the job, they now have power over you, and you've given that power to them. So how do we manage these difficult employees? I have several tips for you. Number one, you want to acknowledge and identify the problem. So the first step in all of this is acknowledging that there is a problem with this employee, not washing it under the rug, not, ignoring it. And documentation really helps here, because when you can see it on paper, this person was late 7 times in the month. This person was late for a deadline 3 times in a row. Those kind of things are much more powerful, both for you in acknowledging that there is a problem, but also if you choose to pursue action against this individual, you have that documentation. Number 2, find the positives. And I think this is one where we feel like we probably shouldn't find positives, especially if we're thinking we want to terminate this individual. But it's really important to identify the employee's positive characteristics, even if it's little teeny things. The benefit of this is that the employee is going to be much more likely to hear what you have to say in terms of constructive criticism, and they're going to be much less likely to become confrontational, and essentially your meeting then becomes unproductive. So you want this meeting with this individual to be productive, and they're going to be much more likely to respond positively when they feel like their value is also being recognized. Number 3, ask for the employee's feedback. So what do they think about their performance? A lot of times they're going to come out and say, I know I haven't been doing good, and it's because X has been going on at home, or because I just found out I have Y disease, or whatever it is. You want to ask them if they are aware, if they know how their behavior is impacting the company. And then ask them if there are any concerns that they have about what you've said, if there's anything they want to discuss. And you want to listen really closely to what they have to say. Your primary goal in this meeting is to discover what's going on underneath. So the behavior is the symptom. The tardiness is the symptom. The absenteeism is the symptom. But what's the cause? What's the underlying root cause of that performance or behavior issue? And then you can find solutions to work together. So step 4 then is creating an action plan and documenting it. So being very specific with the employee. Here's what you're going to need to do to rectify whatever this issue is. You want to come up with measuring, what are the expectations? How will they be measured? What will the consequences of failing to meet those expectations be? and identify specific actions that employee needs to take to help them achieve their goals. Find out, are there any tools that you're going to need to be successful? Do I need to send you to some training? Do I need to, whatever it is? You want to also establish within this step appropriate timeframes for completing each part of this improvement action plan. And then finally, you want to document everything in writing as you have this meeting. And you really, throughout this process, want to document everything that's going on so that you have a written copy. Provide the employee with a copy of that as well. Number 5, follow up consistently. So this is not a one and done thing. Here's what you need to do. Now run along and do it, and we'll check back in 3 months and see if you've done it. But rather, this is part of what you established in the previous step, is how often are we going to be checking in with one another? How often are we going to be meeting? And you're going to be monitoring the employee's progress in achieving the benchmark goals or lack thereof throughout the process. So establish a schedule, and what is that schedule going to look like, and have all of that in writing. With these steps, you can maximize the chances of turning around a difficult employee so that they can, number 1, understand how their behavior or performance impacts the entire organization or your department or whatever it is. Number 2, they can overcome any personal or professional circumstances that are affecting their behavior, right, or contributing to their performance issues. Number 3, you want them to be able to build positive work relationships. And in most cases, if you are slacking off, backstabbing other people, showing up late, not finishing your projects on time, you are not going to have positive work relationships, not with your coworkers, not with your manager. Next, you want to make adjustments to their behavior that helps create a positive work environment. And you can spell those out, right? We need you to not gossip about other employees. We need you to, leave work 15 minutes early every day so that you get here on time. And then finally, you want to improve their work performance and achieve their maximum potential, right? So most people want to do a good job at work, and you are helping them to get greater job satisfaction, feel better about themselves and the contribution that they're making. So I hope this has given you some tips for how to manage difficult employees and some food for thought, and I'll see you next week. Take care.
You've been listening to The Exclusive Career Coach with Lisa Edwards, CEO of Exclusive Career Coaching. It would be great if you would rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Also, I want to be your career coach, so be sure to ask questions about your career management challenges and job search situation. Until next time.